Good morning, Bookeemonsters. Welcome or welcome back. It is Thursday, November 9th, and we are here this morning to take a look at new releases. And on Thursdays, we look at fantasy and science fiction. I don't think there was anything out in fantasy this week. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, there were. The earth-shattering new release. There's two of them this week. And there were others, so we'll take a look at them. Good morning. My name is PK, and let's take a look at what is happening here. Good morning, Mary. Happy Thursday. Sitting here sipping a hot cup of joe and enjoying a freshly made apple cider donut from yesterday's trip to the apple orchard. That sounds lovely. That sounds glorious. Finished. You finished it. Ooh, confetti. By Finding Moon by Hillerman last night and have started a Regency romance. Yes, I have read that one, I believe. A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin, or I'm very familiar with it. Light and luscious. Yep, I love those palette cleansers. Regency is a lovely time to be doing that. I did not do much last night after getting home and walking Keo. I was just so tired for some reason. I was glad we didn't have sprints last night. I went to bed even earlier than my early bedtime, so I think I needed the sleep, and it was good. And it was good. So tonight we do have sprints at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern, and that'll be for 2.5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, or just close your eyes and meditate. Whatever you want to do, that's your time. That is self-care for you. And we just make that space for it. Let's look at the new releases. Yes, lots and lots of fantasy and sci-fi. Let's jump in. Did we started to look at this one, didn't we, yesterday? A Power Unbound, The Last Binding, Book 3 by Freya Marsky. Secrets, magic, enemies to something more. Jack Alston, Lord Hawthorne, would love a nice, safe, comfortable life. After the death of his twin sister, he thought he was done with magic for good. But with the threat of a dangerous ritual hanging over every magician in Britain, he's drawn reluctantly back into that world. Now Jack is living in a bizarre puzzle box of a magical London townhouse, helping an unlikely group of friends track down the final piece of the last contract before their enemies can do the same. And to make matters worse, they need the help of writer and thief Alan Ross. Cagey and argumentative, Alan is only in this for the money. The aristocratic Lord Hawthorne, with all his unearthed power, is everything that Alan hates. And unfortunately, Alan happens to be everything that Jack wants in one gorgeous, infuriating package. When a plot to seize an unmanageable power comes to a head in Cheatham Hall, Jack's ancestral family estate, a land so old and bound in oaths that it's grown a personality as prickly as its owner, Jack, Alan, and their allies will become entangled in a night of champagne, secrets, and bloody sacrifice. As one does. And the foundations of magic in Britain will be torn up by the roots before the end. Bookshops and Bone Dust. This is second in the Legends and Lattes. Very hyped book last year, and much anticipated. And I think this is a prequel by Travis Baldry. When an injury throws a young battle-hungry orc off her chosen path, she may find that what we need isn't always what we seek. Viv's career with the notorious mercenary company Rackham's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded during the hunt for a powerful necromancer, she's packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach town of Merk, so far from the action that she worries that she'll never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? Spending her hours at a beleaguered bookshop in the company of its foul-mouthed proprietor is the last thing Viv would have predicted, but it may be both exactly what she needs and the seeds of changes she couldn't possibly imagine. Still, adventure isn't all that far away. A suspicious traveler in gray, a gnome with a chip on her shoulder, a summer fling, and an improbable number of skeletons prove Merk to be more eventful than Viv could ever have expected. They are calling this guy's books cozy fantasy. In the first one's Legends and Lattes, this orc opens up a coffee shop. And that's about it. Let's get rid of that banner, for goodness sake. All right, Terminal by Mur Lafferty. I do have this first one. I have not, I think I started it, but I had an ooh shiny moment and went on to something else. Um, this is a sci-fi mystery. Mallory Viridian would rather not be an amateur detective and fled to outer space to avoid it. But when one of the new human arrivals on a space shuttle is murdered, she's back in the game. Mallory Viridian would rather not. Okay, be an amateur detective, thank you very much. But no matter what she does, people persist in dying around her, and only she seems to be able to solve the crime. After fleeing it to an alien space station in hopes that the lack of humans would stop the murders, a serial killer had the nerve to follow her to Station Eternity. Mallory deduced who the true culprit was that time, too. So that was the previous book. Now the law enforcement agent who hounded Mallory on Earth has come to Station Eternity along with her teenage crush and his sister, Mallory's best friend from high school. Mallory doesn't believe in coincidences, and so she's not at all surprised when someone in the latest shuttle from Earth is murdered. It's the story of her life, after all. Only this time she has more than a killer to deal with. Between her fugitive friends, a new threat arising from the sundry hive mind, and the alarmingly peculiar behavior of the sentient space station they all call home, even Mallory's deductive abilities are strained. If she can't find out what's going on and fast, a disaster of intergalactic proportions may occur. And of course, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, second in the Fourth Wing series. Everyone expected Violet Sorrengail to die during her first year of Basgiath work at Basgiath War College, Violet included. But threshing was only the first impossible test meant to weed out the weak-willed, the unworthy, and the unlucky. Now the real training begins, and Violet's already wondering how she'll get through. It's not just that it's grueling and maliciously brutal, or even that it's designed to stretch the writer's capacity for pain beyond endurance. It's the new vice commandant who's made it his personal mission to teach Violet exactly how powerless she is, unless she betrays the man she loves. Although Violet's body might be weaker and frailer than everyone else's, she still has her wits and a will of iron. And leadership is forgetting the most important lesson Basgiath has taught her. Dragon riders make their own rules. But a determination to survive won't be enough this year, because Violet knows the real secret hidden for centuries at Basgiath War College, and nothing, not even dragonfire, may be enough to save them in the end. Swarm by Jennifer D. Lyle. Young adult science fiction. On a sunny September morning, the creatures first appear. Sure sees one of them hovering outside the window in history class. It looks like a giant butterfly, at first too beautiful and strange to seem like a threat. But when emergency alerts light up everyone's phones around her, she realizes something is very, very wrong. Something very, very wrong is happening outside. These things and everywhere are everywhere. By the time Sure makes it back to her house with her brother Keen and their two best friends, it's clear they must face whatever comes next on their own. A terrifying species the world's never seen before has suddenly emerged, and few living things are safe. As the creatures swarm and attack outside, life for Sure and her friends becomes a survival game. They board the windows, stockpile supplies, and try to make sense of the news reports for as long as the power stays on. Yet nothing can prepare them for what follows. The butterflies are only the beginning. The next onslaught will be deadlier and even closer to home. Sounds more horror. Not thrilled. The future we looked at The Hunting Moon, Susan Denard. Fantasy, romance, young adult. Luminaries #2. It's the sequel to The Luminaries. Winnie Wednesday has gotten everything she thought she wanted. She passed the deadly hunter trials. Her family has been welcomed back into the Luminaries, and overnight she has become a local celebrity. The girl who jumped. The girl who got bitten. Unfortunately, it all feels wrong. For one, nobody will believe her about the new nightmare called the Whisperer that's killing hunters each night. Everyone blames the werewolf, even though Winnie is certain the wolf is innocent. On top of that, following her dad's convoluted clues about the Dianas, their magic, and what happened in Hemlock Falls 4 years ago, is leaving her with more questions than answers. Then to complicate it all, there is still only one person who can help her. Jay Friday, the boy with plenty of problems all his own. As bodies and secrets pile up around town, Winnie finds herself questioning what it means to be a true Wednesday, excuse me, and a true luminary, and also where her fierce-hearted loyalties might ultimately have to lie. The Tatami Time Machine Blues by Emily. The translator is Emily Balistreri. It's by Tomihiko Morimi. In the boiling heat of summer, a broken remote control for an air conditioner threatens life as we know it in this reality-bending, time-slipping sequel to the Tatami Galaxy. During a scorching August in Kyoto, our protagonist and his worst friend, Ozu, are locked in a glaring contest in a 4.5 tatami mat room. Ozu has spilled Coke on their air conditioner's remote control, the only AC in Shimogamu Yusuisuso, their famously shabby sweatbox of an apartment building. Vengeful and despairing, our protagonist discusses countermeasures with his secret crush, the reliably blunt Akashi, when Tamura, a strange young man with a bad haircut, appears. Tamura claims to be a time traveler from 25 years in the future and shows off the time machine he uses to travel. Our protagonist has a brilliant idea. The sweetest revenge would be to go back one day in time and retrieve the functioning remote control. His simple fix is complicated by Ozu and several others who are also eager to take a ride back in time. But in attempting to alter the past, our protagonist foresees the world's extinction. Even more troubling, Akashi mentions she's bringing someone to the upcoming bonfire, and it's not him. Only one thing remains certain: it's going to be a very long month. Strange. We Are the Crisis by Cadwell Turnbull. Fantasy. Sequel to No Gods, No Monsters. 3 years after the monster massacre, members of Rebecca's old wolf pack have begun to go missing without a trace. The world has undergone many changes in the years since monsters came out of the shadows. An anti-monster group known as the Black Hand has started to organize across the United States. In response, pro-monster organizations have been growing in numbers and militancy. Targeted killings of suspected monsters and their allies, monsters spirited away in the dead of night, and the beginnings of pro-monster legislation are all signs of cosmic shift on the horizon. Is there any hope for lasting peace, or are these events just precursors to a devastating monster-human war? Meanwhile, beneath it all, two ancient orders escalate their mysterious conflict, revealing dangerous secrets about the gods and the very origins of magic in the universe. I read to escape. All the crap in the world. All right. Apologize. The First Wizard, Dawn of Wizards, Book 1 by Jeffrey L. Kahonic. Kindle Unlimited. It says it came out October 24th. So not really this week. Before wizards, the race of magic held power and enslaved humans. Ian and Vic are brothers. Their lives are simple, and while they might long for excitement, happiness can be found in a hard day's work, a sunny day, or the smile from a pretty girl. Their lives are turned on end when their village is attacked, and they are taken as slaves, destined to labor under the watchful eye of their captors. The strife that had long dominated much of the world had found them. Things would never be the same. Oathbreaker by Marie Bilodeau, first of Keepers of a Broken Land. It is this week. Interesting cover. Bound by a blood oath and harboring a deadly secret, she's out of time. Avriel Greyloft has survived 2 wars, the loss of family, and a battle against an ancient god. Her magical blade has sliced through monsters and gods alike, and she's no stranger to the tang of her own blood, but that blood runs cold when monsters return to her land after 20 years of peace. Desperate to protect her son and her home, Avril reaches out to old allies for help. The most powerful queen in Graydon and its highest ranking sorceress. Together, the three women defeated the monsters once before, and Avril hopes they can do so again. But Avril and her allies are not who they once were. The price they paid for their power was steep, and now they are linked by a dark secret forged in the blood of a god, a secret so deadly that it could shatter their world and them. Will their remaining magic be enough to stop the return of evil? Or has too much time passed and too much of their power already been lost? So it sounds like maybe like a second set of. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be cooler today here in Billings. Um, we have hit 60 in the last few days, but I think today was going to be cooler. It says it's currently 32. It's going to be in the upper 40s, might hit 50. So yeah, a little bit cooler. I like this shirt. I just got this shirt a little while ago, but it has really stupid sleeves. So I need to wear something over it. It's supposed to get to 81. Wow. We don't really look at collections like that. The Inundation? Inundation. Post-apocalyptic fantasy by Coral Alejandra Moore. First in a series, 259 pages. Came out last week. Hi, Emily. I finally got to start iron. Oh, did you? Did it show up? Are you liking it? I didn't buy it. I put it on library hold, which means I'll probably read it in about 6 months. Above Dark Waters. Kindle Unlimited. Came out a while ago. Oh, I wish these were accurate. Future Calico we looked at. Honor and Renown. By Glyn Stewart. I am familiar with that author. Only 135 pages. So novella-ish. I think I have one of her series on my TBR that I keep meaning to get to. Peacetime Navy has many roles. Presence, protection, preparation, commerce, sales, realpolitik. A century before the Kinmiri ever touched humanity's stars, Admiral Christopher McLeod commands the extrasolar squadron of the Commonwealth Space Force. His job, above all else, is to sell British military technology to the rest of humanity. The Admiral has long ago accepted his role as the pony in the Commonwealth's Dog and Pony sales show, but as war between the United States colonial administration and the Russian Novaya Imperia twists ever closer to neutral stars, every nation must choose what neutral means for them. And Admiral MacLeod must choose what matters most to him, the Commonwealth neutrality or the 1,000-year-old traditions of Her Majesty's Navy. All right, that's it for what they are saying for this week-ish. I was gonna take a look at another website, at least just to show you if you wanted to do some more looking around. I've shown it before. This is freshfiction.com. and they do new releases. They also do um, re-releases, and they don't really indicate which is which. So I haven't really used it, but it is certainly something to check out. Um, I'm just going to scroll here. Look at it and be aware that, well, I guess with all the websites we're hitting. Uh, Beware of the dates, because I think, isn't this one this one's a very huge, the Jessa Hastings Magnolia Park series. This might just be a release with a new cover. So that kind of thing you just kind of have to be aware of. But they are saying all of these are being released this week in some form. Maybe it's even I'm not sure, but it could be like even the paperback version of a hardback from a year ago. I wish there was a way to filter, but there isn't. But you can see there's a lot here. We didn't look at that one, did we? That one's a big one. Why wasn't that on the other pages? Let's double check the date. Yeah, why wasn't that on the either one of those websites? That's maybe they're considering it. Anyway, Jim Butcher, who writes the Dresden Files, also has done a fantasy series. This one just came out this week as well. The Olympian Affair, second in the Cinder Spires. And I have that first one in the series. I've been meaning to read it. For centuries, the Cinder Spires have safeguarded humanity, rising far above the deadly surface world. Within their halls, aristocratic houses rule, developing scientific marvels and building fleets of airships for defense and trade. Now the spires hover on the brink of open war. Everyone knows it's coming. The guns of the great airship fleets that control the skies between the last bastions of humanity will soon speak in anger, and Spire Albion stands alone against the overwhelming might of Spire Aurora's armada and its new secret weapon, one capable of destroying the populations of entire spires. A trading summit at Spire Olympia provides an opportunity for the Spire Arch, Lord Albion, to secure alliances that will shape the outcomes of the war. And to that end, he dispatches Privateer Captain Francis Madison Grimm and the crew of the AMS Predator to bolster the Spire Arch's diplomatic agents. I love stuff like that. Got to get to that first book. It will take daring, skill, and no amount of showmanship to convince the world to stand with Spire Albion, assuming that it's not already too late. This has elements of steampunk a little bit to it as well. Not that I'm hugely into steampunk, but just be aware that it has those elements. There's like air ships. Mary said, "Good morning, Emily. No, you're excited to have Iron Flame in hand. Absolutely." Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just I don't really have time to do a whole lot of pre-sorting out, so it's frustrating. I wish there was. I want a perfect website that gives us all accurate information. I know, I know, I know. All right, to everybody, we are out of time. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. It will be Friday, and I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I might do something a little different, just cause. And tonight we do have sprints at why is my shirt all long? At 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern for 2.5 hours. Have a great day, everyone. Hope to see you later. Thanks again. I hope your car's doing well too. You had 2 days of car stuff. Um, so let me know what you're reading. Let me know how you're doing. I care about you guys. So read good books, take care of yourself, and as it says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. God bless.